Hello Chelsea fans, thank you so much for joining me yet again on another video on Mugumisa Talks Chelsea. It is a very interesting time that we live in as Chelsea fans, a time where poach out continues to grow as a sentiment and a number of Chelsea fans get to grow and join that wagon after every single game. You can't blame them. There are games that are uninspiring. There are games whereby you look back and the only positive you seem to have is that there was possession. Sometimes there will be a win, but one that has just occurred to the club. Other times, many times, we will be having drop points. And like last night, there will be a performance where you wondered, what did I just watch? It was a game that a championship side, 12th on the table, with as many or even more injuries in their squad. One that suffered even two more. One of those of a silly, no, it's not a silly mistake. He's not a left back. Don't claim he's a left back. So, well, a header by our own defender who almost let in yet another goal in the first minute right there. And you wonder where to from now. On the timeline are still a couple of people who feel Mauricio Pochettino is the right man for the job. In this video, I break down why he is not. Thank you so much for joining us. Let's get started. My name is Desire Derek Ford Mugumis, and thank you so much for being a part of this video. First and foremost, I would love for you to, if you feel you like this content, please like this video. It will help us to get to be in as many faces as possible for this video to be spread out by the YouTube algorithm. So I'll be very glad if you do that. Please subscribe to the channel and yes, turn on that notification bell. Now, let's talk about Mauricio Pochettino as the manager of Chelsea Football Club. I would love to put up some, what do they call those? Some caveats. Mauricio Pochettino could walk into Manchester City after Pep Guardiola has left, and there is a chance he will succeed. He could go to Arsenal and maybe he will succeed. He might go to Liverpool and maybe he might succeed. He's not a bad manager. He is a decent manager. He is a guy that could do a job. I would love to put it out there and state that my reason as to why I record this video today is simply because it's simply because I want to point out that he's just not the right manager for this Chelsea project. I don't need Todd Boehly and Clear Lake Capital to come and explain to me what the project is and everything. When I look at who they've signed, who they've put in this squad and just about everything, I know that the man they've put in charge of that squad, with the decisions he has consistently made, and I'll be explaining some of those as we go through this video, is not the guy we need to lead us forward. I'll be starting off with a tweet that came in from Alex Goldberg. He came out to say, I know he's in year one with us, and I know there's been loads of injuries, but I am sorry. Pochettino has given this team zero patterns of play and zero identity. I agree with you, Alex, and that's exactly why I used this tweet as part of my caveats at the beginning of this video. Year one. Again, if anyone has followed this channel long enough, and I would love for you to keep watching the videos from even the past, I have never ever been one that has looked for the sack of a manager. Not even AVB, not even Di Matteo. Di Matteo did decently for us, but yeah, not even Di Matteo in the second season when he was struggling. Not even Benitez when the rest of the fan base was clearly against him. Not Sarri, not Potter, not even Tuchel. No one. When there were sections of the fan base that wanted them gone. This is the first one. Something has got to give. Yeah? No patterns of play whatsoever. You get to... I was just watching a video on Twitter where someone shared a sped up Tuchel ball kind of clip. You can search Tuchel ball on Twitter and you'll see it. And you can say, we're trying to do something. When a winger does this, what does the central midfielder do? When the striker makes this kind of move, who is cutting in and all of that? And you see other players, if at all it doesn't work, they're telling you, you should have made this move I mean, and at some point, everyone knows what we're supposed to do. There's nothing like that against that we have right now. We pass the ball, we dominate the ball, and at the start of the season, we were thinking, oh my goodness, we dominate the ball, we have a way we like to play. And then you realize, what do we do with that ball when we get it? The reality is that when I look at that Middlesbrough game yesterday, and I look at, and this is January 2024, and I look at the game in which Kani Chukwuemeka scores his first goal for Chelsea, which I believe was in August, against West Ham, I struggle to see where we were against West Ham as we lost 3-1, and what we looked like yesterday, and I say, this is how we improve, this is what we've done differently, and we can't lose 3-1 to West Ham again. I think we can lose even 6-1 to West Ham today because they've probably progressed. We haven't. If you haven't retarded, it is absurd. Let's continue with the tweets on the situation that Chelsea continues to find itself in. I'm trying not to do a video where I'm the one talking about all the ills. I'm looking at some of the people that have shared their views on this current Chelsea, and I want to just speak to them so we can see that I'm not just biased against Poch. There are people that see these things and have talked about them before. We look at Peace. He put out a tweet. Well, he's clear on Poch out. I share that with him, but I want to see the reasons. Players are played out of position. I still don't understand how Levi Colwill, he's struggled in that position quite a number of times. Every fan sees that. He keeps coming back as the guy at left back. He struggles. Yesterday, in the first moment, if VAR was available in that game against Middlesbrough, we were giving away a penalty in the first minute because there is 80% chance that challenge that Disasi makes on the striker. Someone is wondering, why am I blaming Colwill? Colwill had a ball. Middlesbrough had a plan. Carrick had a plan. He said, you know what, guys? Send the ball over the defense. Let us run in behind. And they're doing that on the end where we have Colwill. They know he's not fast. Teams know how to beat us. We are predictable like that. Knock it over. Colwill reaches out, he heads it straight into the path of Nath, who, well, is fouled, in my opinion, in the box by Disasi. We are lucky there's no VAR, the game goes on. But yes, we're probably giving away a penalty early in the game. We are probably going 1-0 down early in the game. And that is all Poch's tactics or whatever you want to call them. Team has no discipline. I can't explain that any further. Severe lack of build-up and structure. We don't know what we are doing. We don't look like we know what we are doing. Conor Gallagher is running about, and maybe they know what they're doing, but it's absurd. It's clearly not for this team. Not developing enough players. If in game management, I mean, he's sitting through games even when we're under pressure. He's saying nothing and all of that. But then he wants to tell us, oh, these players need to fight and all of that. Why aren't you telling them that in the moment, in the game? Why are you telling these players that? All we see is you sitting at the bench all through the game and maybe standing up a little bit just to shrug your shoulders like all of us in Africa who are so many miles away from whichever stadium you're playing at. And you're the manager. You have the ability to change something. But you fold in your hands just the same way I'm folding my hands in my couch down in Africa watching that game. So how do you benefit as Mauricio Pochettino? When the pictures come in from the training ground, you are laughing and taking pictures and all of those kinds of things with the players, and that is what we see, that is what we feed on. So yes, we have to blame you. We don't see your leadership. We don't see your ability to lead a team like this to the next level of this project. You are not the man for this project, Pochettino. Caicedo and Enzo are being ruined. Ruin might be a big word. I think Caicedo has played a certain level, for that. But I think if at all this level is one we are going to praise, the level that Caicedo is playing at, then we would have been cheated if we agreed to pay 60 million when we went ahead and paid 115 million for Caicedo. So he's clearly not even playing at the level we expect him to be. But he's playing okay, at least over the last few games and all of that. But we need more, and we know he's capable of more. But our manager cannot get the most out of him. We have our friend, Enzo. When I see the positions at which he played in the World Cup, which I'm sure prompted us to say, we are not going to wait for the summer when Benfica are willing to sell him. We are going to buy him in January for whatever money, so Real Madrid or whoever else doesn't come in and take him off of our hands. When I see what he did with Argentina at the World Cup in Qatar in 2022 December, I do not see us using him that way. And that is really what many of us had seen of him. What he did at Benfica and all of those things. We have not seen these things. And yeah, our manager is still in the chair. He's leading us. And they're trying to tell us that something will be going right someday soon. A lack of attacking patterns, we've talked about that already. A change in attitude and mentality since pre-season. And bro, I don't think anything has changed in terms of attitude and mentality. It is all the same. And that's exactly why I am Poch out now. He hasn't changed the mentality or anything. I've just realized that it was BS he was selling us in the pre-season. He was saying all these things and all of that, and they were nice to hear. The man performs well in press conferences. He says the right thing at all times and all of those kinds of things. That is probably the one thing he has done right at Chelsea since he came in, Mauricio Pochettino. And what he promised in August, in June, July, actually in pre-season, now when we look at it, we are saying, this is what you say, this is what we are doing. I don't think... Yeah, I'm sure some of these players that we are blaming for not performing and all of that, they're looking back and thinking, they've probably seen this BS that we are complaining about now, about 2 months ago, because they're with this man at the training pitch every single day. They've probably seen these things and they're thinking, this is not the right guy for the job. They've probably switched off. So as we see all of them performing at a level that we think is not good, it's also possible that these guys have switched off. So have the Chelsea players really switched off because their manager is not good enough and they see that every single day? It is possible. It is possible. Anyways, let's get to look at Vince. Vince has been one person that has been a big supporter of Mauricio Pochettino, and I would love to conclude this with a tweet he put up which showed his views on this, and where I disagree with them where necessary. I will get to stop at that. But yeah, he says, my thoughts on Chelsea. Even though I agree that Pochettino is not tactically the best for our squad profile. Yeah, at the moment you're not right for the squad profile, Vince, you get out, because this is a project that is long term. This is a project that is going to need all the time we have on it. So if we can avoid wasting some time, we already see he's not tactically the best for this, then we get rid of him now. There's no push in about that, but it goes on. But it's not entirely bad and shouldn't be blamed alone for our problems this season. That's for sure, I agree with you. The squad is decimated. We could do with the Fofana at the back, Reece and Chilwell's creativity and experience, Lavia as a 6 and so on, but they aren't there. And our attackers are missing chances like no other. You see, Vince, I disagree with you on this one. When a player is absent, maybe some quality drops. But with the form that Wesley Fofana has had as an example at Chelsea Football Club, I cannot argue that Disasi has done worse. I cannot argue and say Thiago Silva has done worse than Fofana. I cannot say Colwill, matter of fact, has done worse. I cannot say any of those 3 defenders I have mentioned is a downgrade on Fofana. With the form that we have seen with Reece James, and he's one of our best players and all of those and all of that, yes, we miss him. The Reece James that is on form and is doing right, we definitely miss him. But we've had a Malo Gusto who's done crazy well when he has come in. So I'm not so sure that we are dropping, from Reece James to Gusto, yes, we are dropping in there. But even Gusto currently, I don't think he's outside the top 3 best right backs in the league right now. I think he's done that well. So I also want to argue and say, no, it's not a big gap that we are jumping from Reece James to Gusto. When we go to left back, the less we say about it, the better. Because even when Chilwell was available, he was played as a winger, not a left back. So when we look at the players that Pochettino misses, the left back named Ben Chilwell cannot be considered, because even when he was available, he was not played as a left back. Lavia as a 6, yeah, well and good. That is definitely something and all of that. And I think I've spoken about how Lavia would get to fit into this side and how he would play when he gets to join us. You can have a look at that video. But I also think that even if he's not there, our manager should be good enough to find solutions to, this is what I have available if I play this way. Now that I don't have this kind of number 6, I should be able to play with this box to box that is Caicedo, and this number 8 that is Enzo, and this whatever he is that is Conor Gallagher, and get the most out of them. That is not happening. No, I blame Pochettino for everything you point out here. The attackers are missing chances like no other. It is simply because the opportunities that we are bringing to them are occurring to them. We are not playing to set them up. We are not having those attacking patterns that we're just talking about that lead to the striker being alone with one defender or beating his defender or anything like that. We are not playing whereby this is the kind of pass that we should be playing maybe in between the goalkeeper and the defense line so that our striker can get to connect that. Striker, with the way we are playing now, we need you to have gone a step in by the time the cross is being planned. And it should be working by like clockwork, at least close to it, by January if you started working on it in June. We haven't done that, and that is why we are losing faith in this man that is Mauricio Pochettino. Let's get to move on with more of these thoughts. It's easy to look at the manager, but like I said a million times, no sane manager will take this job as it is until we improve it. I don't understand the cry after every game to sack the manager. It's boring. A new manager won't make players to become clinical overnight. Players' improvement takes time and every player has a limit. His talent can take him too. And I agree with that too. But you cannot tell me that managers are going to turn down the Chelsea job if they are the right profile for this profile of team. We have seen managers like Ancelotti leave AC Milan and whatever caliber, Bayern Munich and the caliber of players they played with, and they've taken on jobs like Everton before. We've seen big managers take on small jobs before. And this is not even a small job. I'm just using that example to say that for as long as there is a job, there are people who are willing to do it and throw in their hat and say, I would love to do that. This might piss you off and I'm probably also biased, but call Graham Potter today and tell me he will turn down that job. He's not a big manager, but he's a manager who is clear and aware of what we're trying to build here, whatever it is. I'm sure the owners got to explain that to him and all of that. And even as we lose games, and we're not demanding that Chelsea win games every single day. We are saying, what are we doing on the pitch? I am sure that with the way we are losing games today, more than a half of the people who wanted Potter out would accept for him to take this job at least until the end of the season to see what he can get to do with this new change squad. Not because they are out of options, but simply because in as much as they hated that we were losing games and he seemed to be out of his depth, there were patterns on the pitch, there was something that seemed to be built towards, which we don't have now. Finally, on this thought, this is how his tweet ended. We need to focus on stabilizing the squad, recover injured players, buy one or two to help in attack and defense. Give them a couple of months together before passing judgment. Ultimately, I don't think that this squad suits Pochettino, but changing him in our current set will change absolutely nothing. It might change absolutely nothing for now. But keeping the wrong manager tactically, like you pointed out, keeping the manager, like you also point out and say, who this squad does not suit, keeping him in the job is wasting the rest of the season. Yeah. And the rest of the season is 4 months, is lots of games, is good preparation for the next one. If at all this one is that terrible and it looks like it's gone. The season is gone. We're not going to make top 6 for Europa place. Can you imagine that? We're not going to make top 4. Now, we don't look like we will make I don't know where you guys get the confidence from, but we don't look like we will make the Carabao Cup final. We are still so far out in the FA Cup final. So what are we fighting for? Why are we leaving Pochettino, who many of us agree is not tactically brilliant. He's not tactically fit for this squad, for this team, and for me, for this project. Because he has this 4-3-3/4-2-3-1 that he wants to play a certain way and no other way. But tomorrow, if we had been successful, Echeverri would be coming to Chelsea. But on another day, there is a Senegalese under-17 player that is coming in. He has no control over who comes in. They brought in Petrovic, they brought in everyone that they brought in. He has no control over that. So if you're a manager that wants to play a certain position, a certain formation, a certain way you want to play it and all of that, actually a head coach, not a manager, then you need to be sending your own players and all of those things, and that is not going to happen at Chelsea. So leave now and let's work towards getting the right person in charge. Of course, someone will argue, we did that last season, how is it going this season? I want to take it that these are new owners, they came in and they are taking lessons. they will know better than they did the last time out. I would love to hear your views on everything that we've talked about. It's quite a long video. I didn't think we'd go this far into it, but I would love to hear from you and hear what it is that you think about Pochettino being at Chelsea and what the way forward is. Why are you Poch out? Why are you Poch in if you still are? I would love to have that conversation with you in the comment section below. Until as that gets to happen, please like the video. Please help us have this content be in as many faces as possible. I am grateful to everyone that is getting in touch and getting to, you know, interact with us and share these videos and all of that. Share with them, with as many people that would love to hear this as possible. Is it in Chelsea groups? Is it in general sports groups? Tell them that this lad that talks about football and all of those, but mainly about Chelsea. Check out his view on this, on that, any video on the channel. Please do that. Subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and until the next video, let's keep why am I biting that up? Is it that bad? Yeah, but let's keep the blue flag flying high, people. We love you, Chelsea. Oh yes, we do.